Troy Engen here with Structural Buildings. Let's talk construction. Today what I want to talk about briefly is commercial construction in general, and more specifically some of the costs that are associated with commercial construction. There's a lot of stigma behind that, and there's a lot of rumors and myths, and of course truths that apply to building when you're considering it commercial. The biggest thing to consider with commercial is the fact that it is a classification. Sometimes the buildings might not vary much, whether it's a residential or a commercial or industrial or an agriculture or whatever it's considered. But the classification is what it changes the parameters of the buildings. And the cost associated with commercial building is a lot of times in the upfronts. Different municipalities and regions that you build in have different requirements when it's considered commercial building. So that all has to be figured out in the front end. The costs that are associated with it might be in review plan, in the state reviews. It might be in the engineering or the architectural. It could be in the process of the build. Certain commercial standards actually require heavier built buildings. They might have snow loads that you have to consider that is higher than, say, your agriculture buildings or your residential buildings. What the building's being used for. Again, the classification of the building. These are things that all have to be considered up front when trying to estimate your cost of your building. The end use and what you're going to use it for is going to be considered when classifying the building. Where it's being built. Is it being built on high wind areas along the lake, around, up on Lake Superior or something like this? The design of the building will be different, and the classification therefore will be different, and everybody that goes into designing this building has to adhere to these classifications. So get together with one of our structural buildings experts and talk about what your building is going to be used for, and we can help you to figure out what classification that needs to be. And then we can sit down and be able to design the building for your end use and use the categorical classification, if you will, to figure out how it has to be built and what kind of upfront costs you might have or costs in the building procedure. Thanks, and we'll talk to you soon.